back to the Geary Theory. I'm your host, Lauren Geary. Now, today I'm talking to Julie Helsendegger. She has 5 children, homeschools all of these children, and she is running 3 businesses. Now, I was like, how the heck are you juggling this? If you go to her pages or social media platforms, you will find she teaches you how to juggle this. And I was like, like, let's talk about it. Like, how do you make this all happen? Because right now we are a generation of women. There's more women homeschooling, more women staying at home. This is the first generation with the most amount of children that be homeschooled in all of American history. And this is also a generation that's going back to the stay-at-home mom or the very part-time working mom so that we can be present to our children as much as possible. And we're doing all this without having not been raised with that as an example. Therefore, we have no experience and no mentor to teach us how to do this. Generations of the past, as they became mothers and mentored, they had their mothers to tell them how to do this. We don't have it. We don't have it. And we're trying to figure it out. And we have a generation of women wanting to give their children and their family this lifestyle, and they don't know how to run their home. And Julie has peeled back the curtain and is teaching us how to make it possible, how you can implement systems and charts and designing your home in a way. When I say to designing, it's as far as like the items in your home, creating a space in your home that runs perfectly seamlessly and still gives you time so you can work on a side hustle. You can help bring in a little bit money for your family, or you can just find a hobby and focus on it like I am with my podcast. I have since, after this conversation with her, changed the way I'm running my home. I am happier. My children are happier. The house is smoother. The house is cleaner, more organized. And it's powerfully impacted me. And that's why if you're a mom, if you are a parent, if you are somebody that knows a mom or somebody struggling to keep their house in order with children home, please share this with them. It has affected my life in such a positive way, and I knew it will do the same. Stay tuned.
Thanks so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. And I love that you brought your baby on because I think it just really encompasses what we're going to be talking about today, which is juggling business, mom, entrepreneurship, life, running a household, all that. So, and that's exactly what you're doing right now on camera. So thanks for the live demo.
This is my life. If I don't have a baby in my arms, there's probably something wrong.
Yeah, it's what I watch all your Instagram and your Facebook pages and stuff, and you just seem really like the fact that you're able to create all these reels, and I know so many things behind the scenes other than creating a reel, and have 5 kids. Like I'm just struggling to do one reel and 3 kids. So that was kind of like my biggest thing is like, how are you able to juggle all this? Because I think what I'm seeing on your pages is that you're really good at organizing. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about mostly is like, how do you organize all the different schedules of being a mother, being a business owner, running the business, making content? Like, how are you honestly doing all this? What's kind of the secret?
Yeah, so I just a little bit background of my like business journey. I've been in entrepreneurship now for 8.5, almost 9 years. Um, so I've learned a lot and I've failed a lot. And I think it's really important to make sure that there's an emphasis on fail because not everything is going to be a success. Um, but because of that failure, I've learned a lot of what to do and especially what not to do. So my first, I've done direct sales, so multi-level marketing, but I do other things now on top of that. But my first entrepreneurial journey was with a direct sales company, and it was a clothing boutique, and it like consumed my life. I was a mom of 2 when I joined, and it was just like all the time work. So we had a room dedicated to all the clothes that I had. It was like a clothing boutique slash playroom, but more of clothes than toys. Um, and every night I would try to go live or do some type of sale. I was always thinking about the business, always thinking like, what else can I do to make success? What else can I do to make money? And it just, like I said, it consumed me. And the big mantra when I was in that company and that business was to do all the things. And so, you're doing lives, you're posting, you're making graphics, you're taking pictures of the clothes, you're doing in-home parties, online parties. And it just got to be too much. So when the company was taking a turn, it was changing a little bit. I knew that that was the time I had to get out. I never was in debt with that company. I started with the mindset of jumping into one of these companies that I will succeed because failure is not an option. I do not want to go into debt. I don't want to ever be in the red from buying inventory or doing giveaways or things like that. So I knew that success was always going to be a part of it. So it was kind of hard to step away from that aspect of, losing that income that was coming in. But I knew that as a mother, to be able to be a present mother to my kids, I couldn't do it anymore. So I quit that business. And just a month later, I joined another one because during that first business, a friend of mine was like, I think you could do both. You'd be really good. And I was like, no, I'm quitting this business. I want to focus on that. And then maybe afterwards I'll think about it. So then when I decided to join the second company, which I'm still with, it's Color Street. We do nails and makeup. I've been with them now for 6 years. And when I started, I knew that boundaries were going to have to be a big thing. Um, like I said before, I was working a lot of nights. So we would put the kids to bed, my husband and I, and then I would like go do business stuff, whether that be the live sales or writing thank you notes or packing up inventory. And so when I joined Color Street, I was like, I don't want to work nights. Nights are for me and my husband. They're not a time for business. And that was a boundary I set for myself. Now, that's not going to work for everyone. A lot of times, nights are, when you work. In my current season of life and with my husband's job, nights actually are when I work now because he's often not home at night. So that's when I can get a few things done. But at the beginning, like I said, it was a boundary that I had to set. And I think that's really important, whether you're running a business or just in your house in general, is to set those boundaries of what your time is going to look like. So with that, I learned a lot about how to schedule my time and how to prioritize what I needed to do and what I didn't need to do. Because there's a lot of things when it comes to social selling that are fun and things that you want to do. Like making reels, for instance, can be fun, or spending a lot of time, with the transitions, or um, scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or whatever platform you're using for ideas. And that's all good things, but they're a waste of time if you're trying to like come down to the bullet. So the things that I do to make sure that I get things done, and I teach this to anyone who works with me, is to make a to-do list, whether that is a daily to-do list or a weekly to-do list. I have always been more of a weekly to-do list person because a daily one just does not work, in my opinion, with motherhood because things come up, kids get sick, um, babies need to be rocked, and so if you don't get to your things on a daily basis, you feel defeated. Like, oh, I didn't check off all I wanted to. And also motivation comes and goes, as you know, like, oh, I'm motivated to do all this stuff. So when you have a weekly list, like maybe that Tuesday you have more free time, so you can knock a lot of things off. So that's one way I stay organized is on Sundays. I write out everything I want to accomplish for that week. I write down my business goals, my business to-dos, and then also my personal to-dos. So the things I need to get done around the house, like vacuuming, cleaning the bathrooms. I don't do things normally on specific days. Some people do because it works for them. It just doesn't work for me. So all that to say, you have to find also what systems work for you and what systems work best with you and your family. I'm trying to think what else. So the to-do list. The biggest thing
Yeah, go ahead.
is mindset. So that's another like big component of it. Um, is how lazy we are as a society. Like we just don't want to do things. You know, you don't want to work. People complain like, "Oh, I have to go to work," or "I have to do the chores and stuff." And this all stems back to that first business I started of like, I'm in the mindset of failure is not an option when it comes to making money. And so that whole mindset, like if you start a company or do things like chores in a clean house, um, you just have to make the decision to do it. You know, like it just comes down to doing things and having that mindset instead of like, oh, I'll put it off or I'll get to it later. So,
Did you have a switch within you that said, I'm going to start looking at, like, were you struggling with, like, oh, I have to make a reel or I have to do this for my business, and then something changed within you that said, I have to change your mindset? Because that's what I think we all struggle with is, life can be so overwhelming with being a mom and all the things that have to be done that, like sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, like you just feel overwhelmed by it. So, what was it that kind of switched within you, or did you always have that attitude to be, just positive and look at it like you just gotta look at it as a bright way to look at it?
yeah, so I think like in general, I'm more of a positive person. I always have been. Um, I'm also a more like just get the work done type of person. Like, um, but as far as like overwhelm goes, because I know like when I had two kids and running a business, I felt overwhelmed like all the time of, where do my priorities lie? Like making a reel didn't exist back then, but live video was huge. Like, how do I get that done and like also have everything else, that I have to get done and feeling that overwhelmed. And it goes back like to the mindset of like God is calling us as mothers to be mothers first, right? Like he's not calling us to be a career woman or he's not calling us to run our own businesses first. It's always like being a wife and being a mom first. And so to remember that, like we can have our own dreams and ambitions and goals, but at the end of the day, like I'm a mom and raising these kids to get to heaven is my first priority. And even though I want to get, X, Y, and Z done for my business, the it really comes down to just like my job is as a mom first. And to like think back of that and not get overwhelmed by the to-do list and just accept like God's grace in that moment of feeling overwhelmed to like turn it into joy. Like maybe I didn't get to the reel that I wanted to post, but I got some really cute videos of my kids that I can use at a later date. So like turning around and, looking back and trying to make things joyful. Like right now, a fussy baby, but I get to talk to you and talk to whoever else is listening. Um, so yeah.
About, like juggling business, like your own business and a mom, because you don't have to answer to somebody where they're like, hey, you can't have your baby around. This is the time I paid for your time, and I don't want the baby around. So yeah, what a blessing it is to start a business. And do you think that is that what kind of led you to do your own business is, or did you have business aspirations and then they kind of fit into being with a mom?
So I never thought I would own my own business. Like I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Because it's so funny. I was talking to my husband about this probably like a few weeks ago. When I was 8 or 9 years old, I like had my own business in our house. Um, and it was like a spa, and I would like do nails or like give hand massages to like my sisters or my mom and like get paid for it. Like I made a sign and everything. So like that has
Did you
always been in
charge
my
like a
heart.
quarter? What was your price back then?
I think I charged a hefty fee. It was like $10 for like 5 minutes or
Gosh,
something. Like
that's a
ridiculous.
professional. Yeah, that's great. You got
Yeah.
customers. They didn't question
Um,
it.
yeah, so that's always been in like my heart, but as a mom, like I worked in youth ministry before starting my own business, and I loved it, but I didn't want to like be out of the home, but I also wanted to make my own money. I wanted to contribute and be able to buy a coffee at Starbucks whenever I wanted, or buy a fancy purse, or buy shoes, or whatever it was. Now it's more like I want to have money to spend on my kids. So it's not always like I've wanted to have a business for myself. Um, but since I've been able to do different routes from it. So, like I said, I started with direct sales. I'm still in direct sales. I'm with Color Street. And then I also recently helped launch a new company in the United States for skincare. It's called Abby. It's amazing. But I also do um, t-shirt and like sweatshirt design. And I have my own shop for that too, which is really, really cool.
Easier too with time because I just noticed with it myself as a mom is your first kid, it was very hard. Like you just going from no kids to kids is very hard. And then every kid seems to get easier just because you have that experience. And even I've transitioned from working to working quite a bit to working barely at all with being a hairstylist. And so it took me a while even to get adjusted to being with my kids all the time, and I love it, but I remember those first days just counting down like the hours of the day because I wasn't like used to all that kid time. And as much as you love it, it does take, for me at least, like I had to build up to get used to it. And now I'm in it and I have systems in place and I love it and I wouldn't have it any other way. But is that how like you've been able to add now you're at like 3 or 4 businesses? Like four really with the
Three. Yeah.
t-shirt. Three, yeah, three. So you got 3 businesses, 5 kids. Do you feel like, I mean, obviously this is something you've learned to juggle. It's not something that somebody listening, they're like, oh, I have like 1 kid and I'm considering one business, and the idea of 3 just sounds overwhelming. So it's just something that you kind of work your way up towards, would you say, or?
Yeah, definitely. I know from like kids, for instance, let's go back to that. So my first was like, as you said, it was so hard. It's definitely a learning curve. Um, you're all in it, like you're in a new role, a new position per se. And then 2 kids come and it's still hard because, one is a baby, one is a toddler that still needs all of your attention. I personally think like 2 was the hardest um, for me. I think having 2 kids and like young kids is so hard. And then number 3 came around and she was like easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and just like joined in because the other 2 had each other. And this was actually the third came during COVID. So like everything was shut down. My husband was at home, which I'm sure played like a huge role into it as well. Um, but it just got easier from there. And then with number 4 and 5, it's kind of like you just roll with it. The older kids have each other, and then like number 4 and 5 were the first ones I really like enjoyed newborn and like enjoyed those newborn snuggles. And with a business, I would say it's the same thing where once you develop a business and your systems, you get in that rhythm where then you can add other things. It would be the same if like you're trying to develop habits, right? Like maybe you want to drink more water. So you start, or actually a bigger goal, like I want to be more fit, or I want to lose, 15, 20 pounds. I don't know. I'm not in the health wellness area at all. So like I don't know what's a realistic goal. But say that's an example. So
Yeah.
like you're not gonna all of a sudden start drinking a ton of water and exercising really hardcore all the time and changing your whole diet because you'll burn out just like with 1 kid or with one business. So you start with baby steps and then you'll be able to keep adding more and more, and then you'll have those systems in place to be set up for success and eventually add more if you want, or just totally rock, the one that you have.
Women that haven't ever been entrepreneur minded, because I that story you told about doing your family's like massages and stuff to make some money. I have a story similar to that as a kid, and I didn't think of anything of it until now I'm older, and I've definitely found my entrepreneur mindset in college and it's expanded since. But do you think that people that aren't necessarily like they're moms, they want to be home with their kids, but they still need money. Do you think they can still start a business when they maybe don't have that natural spirit within them or they at least haven't recognized it yet?
Yeah, I totally think anyone can be in their own business, especially in our day of age right now with social media. Because if you think about it, you're constantly sharing products that you love. So if you found, like, if you go into direct sales, you want to find a product that you love, that you could recommend to family and friends without feeling awkward or salesy or spammy. Or, if you love designing things, you can, have your own Etsy shop or whatnot. Like any business that you are passionate about, people are going to see that passion and not take it as, something like, oh, she's just, trying to make money per se. Obviously, the root of like any business, most of the time is money. Like when you get a sale, like you jump for joy, because you're making money, right? Like that's partially why a lot of moms want to start working from home so they can be with their kids and bring in that money. But I truly think with social media that anyone can do it, whether you have that instinct or not, because we are humans instinctively and we want to be human. And a big part of success is coming from building relationships authentically and genuinely. And you could have conversations with people every day, and not even mention like products or what you sell, and you can still make money from that because you're developing that trust with somebody and you're showing them that they are more important than you making money, which is the root of it. Like be a human is what I'm basically getting at. And unless you don't know how to be a human, which some people don't know how to be, um, I think any mom can find success, um, in working from home and starting their own business.
And I love that because I think the other thing too is our society's transitioned so much to you leave your home, you work. You leave your home, you work. And if we look back in society, I mean, women would, work from home and men clothes or be seamstresses or, like they would sell things, baked goods. It wasn't this like big separation we have now that like work is all outside the home. And luckily with COVID and technology, that's all transitioned. But and we're kind of coming back to that as a possibility, but for so long this idea was like you can't work and be at home at the same time, so that kind of separated mothers from their children. And now that's the beauty of businesses. Now would you say like when a mom's looking to say, okay, I want to make money from home, I'm going to do my own business, what, like, do you think multi-level marketing or direct sales, or do you think that's a good place to start, meaning that they usually have a mentor that kind of helps them? Or you think something like you said, an Etsy shop or other businesses, what would you kind of recommend a mom who's like, I just want to make money, I don't know what I'm doing? Where would you say they should start?
So you have to look at what you're passionate about. And I think that's where you need to start. Because if you are just, um, like, I don't know what to do, then you're not going to be fully in it, whether you do direct sales or have an Etsy shop or, affiliate marketing is another one. You're not going to make money because you're not passionate about it and you're not going to enjoy it. It's going to feel like a true job, where you're like dreading it. And then that the whole point of like working from home, you're going to get frustrated. And then when your kids are interrupting you for like the thousandth time and you just are trying to get the one thing done, then you're like, well, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
Um, so you have to figure out first what you're passionate about. And then, say, like you, like with hair, you love hair, right? And you've done other people's hair. So, like, thinking along those terms, which I know that you have just started, um, Monet with hair and everything, like that is something you can be passionate about. Um, and so then you can look at multi-level marketing companies because there are like thousands of them. Um,
From that can of worms. You see, there's
yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
but you can shop around then. And I think it's really important to shop around because some MLMs are more vulture-like and will try to like go on you and like hunt you down and be like, join my team, like, and they don't actually authentically like care about you as much. A lot of people come from a good place, they're all trying to make money. Um, but you have, when you're open to it, you have more freedom to shop around and choose what you attracts you and what you can be passionate about most. So you can look at the products, you can look at their compensation plan, you can look at how do customers buy? Is it a consumable product? Does it run out every month, or is it more like 6 to 9 months is when people start reordering? So all these things that you have to take into consideration if you were choosing a multi-level marketing company. And you can even talk to people in it. When you are shopping around, you're also shopping for your mentor or upline, as they call it. Like you can talk to multiple people within that company and see who you groove with the most. Like who do you get along with most? Maybe like say you want to do skincare and you're talking to me, but then you're also talking to like Susie Q over here and Rachel over there, and you vibe with Rachel a lot better than you vibe with me. Like just say like, hey, I found someone else like that I'm going to work with. Like be upfront when you're talking to people. Um, but you want to also choose a good upline because they're the person you're going to talk to the most, especially when you're first starting out. For questions, how do I do this? Like all the support with it. And you don't want someone that you can't get along with, or you feel embarrassed to talk to, or you feel like stupid for asking a question. You want to be able to have open conversation. So shopping around is really important. If you're going like an Etsy route, I will say, making your own goods and services is a little bit harder to get into. Multi-level marketing obviously has a product for you to sell and you can already promote it. Half the time they already have like marketing things. Obviously you have your upline to help you. But if you're starting with your own goods or services, like maybe you make earrings, clay earrings, or you want to design shirts, it's going to be harder to grow your business at first. Just coming from experience too, unless you like pour your whole heart into it and post all the times of the day and reach out to people. Um, it will just be harder because it's not established yet. And then another route is affiliate marketing. So maybe you love um, Stanley cups or something. I don't know if Stanley does affiliate marketing, but a lot of companies do. So you
Yeah.
can, go to their website, sign up as an affiliate. But if you go the affiliate route, then you're relying on having a big following. And so if you have a small following, you're not going to get as many sales from that compared to like multi-level marketing. Um, you start, with your inner circle, and also don't spam your friends if you choose to do multi-level marketing. You can be excited about your products and your opportunity, but like I said before, you want to be a human and just be like, hey, I started this company. I would really like your thoughts. No big deal if not, type of stuff. Um, but now you don't need a huge following to make sales in that aspect.
So that's when I started with this company. I just said, I don't want to spam my friends, family, and my hair clients because that's I would rather there's so many other ways to make money and to just obliterate all my personal relationships because they feel like every time I'm talking to them is just trying to get them to buy something is not worth it for me. There's other ways to make money. And I also won't sell something that I don't believe in. So I'm spending a month working with this product to make sure it's something I really like. So far, I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it and love it. But I love what you said, like it's shopping around. So if you'd like to go the MLM route, multi-level marketing or direct sales, if you like to go that route, I really like that tip. It's like you're not just shopping for the product you want to sell, you're shopping for the person that you want to mentor you. And so that's really wise because you're stuck with that person kind of once you're signed up. and you don't want to love the product but dislike the person or just not work well with that person. So yeah, it's very true. Um, I love that. So let's like get into like the day to day. Like walk me through your day if you don't mind. Like where how early do you start your day? How early do you end your day? Because as a mom, I just feel like you're woken up early whether or not you want it to be, and you're going to bed late because that's the only time I can get all the cleaning done. And it's kind of like my own relaxing. Like nobody's creating a mess. I just get to clean it up and it's done. So walk me through like how are you able to juggle all this in your day? Like what systems do you have in place?
Yeah, so oh, when was that? Probably a year and a half ago. Um, I started to, I chose that I needed to wake up before my kids because it was getting to the point where they were waking me up and I would get frustrated and being like, why can I not like wake up in peace almost? Not that it was like annoying to be woken up by them, but like if I was trying to get ready, they also need something. And then like you start your day in chaos. So I made the decision like, okay, I'll start with 10 minutes earlier than what and when they usually wake up. And then, it kept going back from there, which is what I was saying earlier with the baby steps. You always want to take baby steps first. So now I wake up between 5:30 and 6 usually every day. And it is my time to get ready because I think it's really important as a mom to get ready every day. Whether that means putting makeup on, doing your hair, or just getting dressed. Like you want to not be in PJs all day because if you're doing that, then you're telling yourself like I'm gonna have a lazy day. Um, Leggings are not PJs. I'm wearing leggings today and like a t-shirt, and that's getting ready. Okay.
You feel you can
Um,
leave the house in it. It's not pajamas.
yeah, exactly. So getting up and getting ready, and then I exercise and pray, and that's a really important way to start my day. I usually either go on morning walks, or I do weight training, or I do both, depending on if I have enough time. Um, and so that's my time as a mom. Like my kids are not up yet. I usually have a good 45 to an hour before they wake up. And so that's the time I
Your
have for myself.
husband, like if your kids do get up during that time and you're out on a walk, is it kind of like understood with your spouse that he's kind of got to take it, or do you need to always be on call essentially?
Um, Kind of. My kids, like, now that they know that I go on walks, they don't like need anything per se. Like, nothing is that dire in the morning that like he has to stop what he's doing. Like he's still getting ready for work or whatever. Um, I would say half the time he makes breakfast and then I make the other half, just depending on our schedules. But none of my kids, like, if they don't get dressed right away or if they don't brush their teeth, right away after they get up, it's not a big deal. So they kind of just like get up and like putz around and do whatever. Like
Your your personal
they're not
time
very
stuff.
needy.
That's awesome. And that's the beauty of having
Yeah.
more kids and they get older. It's a weird thing that they actually, I mean, I'm not there yet, but it does get easier, which is so crazy that it gets easier the more kids you have to have kids because they kind of
Yep.
take care of themselves and they take care of the little ones. So sorry, so that's your morning. So you give yourself that time, you get all your physical activity in, your prayer time, your get yourself prepped for the day so you feel like you can leave the house and then now the kids are up. So what happens next?
So we eat breakfast, which is very scattered because they don't all wake up at the same time. And then during the school year, they start their lesson. So they do their individual work. And so, like, I made a point this year that if one kid wants to go off and play and the other one's doing school, then I let that happen. I used to be like, we all have to sit down and everyone's going to do their work at the same time. Like, you can't go and play yet. And it got really stressful because, like, they're all then like, I need help and I need this and that. Um, and so in order to like make the morning go smoothly, like they do their work at their own pace, and I help them. And then the things we do together, like I'll sit and read with them. We do a lot of reading. Um, and then that's all finished. All of our school has to be finished before lunch, and that is a rule that I have with them, just because like nobody wants to do school all day ever. It's just like work. So by lunchtime, they have to be done. We eat lunch around noon. And then after lunch, it's kind of like a free for all. Not, it's not like a bunch of wild animals getting out of the zoo, but like they can go and play, they can go read, they can go outside. Um, and basically, like they just have the day for themselves. And I will say, because we have so many kids, it definitely is easier that I don't have to be the entertainment for them. But I've also like made it a point that I'm not their entertainment 24/7 either. Obviously, when you have like toddlers and you only have toddlers, that's a little harder to do. Um, but like we don't do screens in our home. My kids don't have iPads, they don't have phones. My oldest is 10. They might watch a show like occasionally on our TV, but they don't have their own like personal devices, which also helps because they have more creativity, they have more imagination to go do things. They'll play outside for hours. Um, Obviously, like there will be like, Mom, I need this. So there's always, distractions throughout the day. It's not like after lunch, it's like I get to relax all by myself and they're like doing their own thing. Um, Especially with like a newborn, like I'm either nursing or getting food for the toddler still, or someone's asking me to spell something because they're making like artwork. So there's a lot of distractions and interruptions, but to go into that knowing like that's going to happen. So while they're doing their thing, then that's when I do like whatever I have on my to-do list. So I might be cleaning, I might be doing business related things. I might be, I don't even know. Those are like the only two things I do is like cleaning and business
Same.
stuff.
That's like my whole world is cleaning. That
Yeah.
alone, cooking, all the things, keeping people alive.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's pretty much the day, and then like we'll have dinner. I also make it a point during like the afternoon to be more focused on them. So not like pushing them aside either and being like, I have to get this work done, like I include them with things. So if I'm like doing designs, for instance, for my t-shirt shop, I'll like invite my son over and be like, hey, what do you think of this? Like including him in it. Or if I'm packing up orders, which I don't do often, like at all, because I save shipping for online. Um, but I include my kids with it so they like know that what I'm doing is not just for me. Like it includes them. And that also helps a lot because then, they get to spend time with me and they're not bugging me because they're like, ooh, this is fun. Um, and then dinner and then bedtime. And then, like I said, depending on my husband's work schedule, I'll either do work stuff at night or just relax and scroll Instagram because that's fun too.
You can make that work too. Save it. This is an inspiration and put it down, as your to-do list so it feels less guilty that way. You're like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
working.
exactly.
That's awesome. Now, kind of like like so does your husband, how does his like role in your mini juggling? When he comes home, he helps out, I'm guessing, and then just kind of rinse and repeat, but he's not there to help you with the day to day because he's off at work, right? And so he just is his role like supportive. I guess my question is, how is he, does he support all that you have on your plate? And I'm sure you support him as well.
Yeah, so my husband actually got into sales last summer. So he's in sales too. He's not in direct sales. He sells windows and doors. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area and need them, hit me up. Um, But so it's like really interesting now that he's in sales. He's always been supportive since day one, which helps a ton. I know a lot of husbands are not. They're like, why are you spending money or doing this, like whatnot? Um, so it's really helpful that he's been supportive since day one. Um, but with his sales job, he has different appointment times. So he, a lot of the time, he's home in the afternoons. So then he helps like chauffeur kids to activities at night. Um, and then like I'll pick them up. But he helps around the house when he can. Um, and then he also knows like if I need to do something at night, uh, like, hey, I have to send this email real quick. He's like, okay, like it's not a big deal. Uh, but I also like,
The focus too, where you can just be in the zone.
yeah. Um, and like I said, when I was doing that other company way back when, and then when I started Color Street, like I made that boundary of nighttime is for us. It still is that way. Like if he's home, I don't do work, even if I have to get things done, or not have to, because that's another point that I should make is that if you are in a direct sales company or multi-level marketing, nothing is an emergency. Like if you don't answer your customer right away, like it's not the end of the world. They're not going to disown you if you've built a relationship with them. Um, so like if he's home, that's our time to like hang out, watch a movie or watch a TV show, talk, you know. Um, but he's been very supportive and like helps when he can, and helps a lot with the kids, obviously, because we have five of them. So I can't do it all by myself.
Yeah, yeah. And that's awesome. And that's what I've definitely heard from a lot of people is that there's this whole movement right now. I'd be curious to get your take on it. Lila Rose made a video about it, and it's like this trad wife thing that, women should be moms and cooks and all that, but and the man should be the one to make the money. And I've even seen on some Facebook group pages for moms is it kind of made me really well, it's made me really sad. There's multiple times where I've seen women comment on there, that they're looking for ways to make money from home. They don't need to make much. They're just looking for ideas or people to point them in the direction where they can make money and be a mom because they want to be home with their kids. But the economy's tough right now. And there will be women on there that shame these women for even asking the question and saying it's your man's job to make the money. And
Mm.
the economy is so tough right now that a lot of people are just they want to be home with their kids. I think we see more and more women realizing that they were kind of lied to about that your career is going to be ultimately fulfilling, and that's not the case. They're finding motherhood is what fulfills them the most, but they're also looking at the income and the finances, and men can only make so much sometimes, and they don't know what to do. So what are your thoughts on that as far as like women working and being at home and moms and trying to do it all? And then also shaming women for even feeling like they should make money. What's your opinion on this kind of dialogue right now?
Um, Well, I think I haven't experienced it firsthand, um, of like the shaming. I also haven't seen much of it. Um, but I do know, like, from just experience of being in business and making money, um, like what you were saying, like, my fulfillment does not come from that. Um, it's more of a means to an end of like money, like bringing in that extra income. Um, Fortunately, like for us, we don't need it. Um, but we also make a lot of sacrifices. My husband and I are more like traditional, like obviously I'm at home. I do a lot of the cooking, I do a lot of the cleaning, the traditional roles. But that is, in my opinion, like what I've been called to do as a mother. I think traditional roles are very vocational from God. Like, I think, a woman leaving to go build a career and leaving her kids is not natural. I don't think it's something that should be happening a lot. Obviously, there are exceptions because of the economy or, because of marital situations or, college debt, things like that. Um, so I'm not shaming anyone in that regards of like, you should be at home and not be working or anything like that. Because a lot of my close friends, work outside of the home. But I do think that um, if you're able to, it's going to be the most fulfilling that way. But I don't think there's any shame in making money and being proud of making money from home and being a mom at the same time.
Reference to the, I think it was the Proverbs 31 wife that, she talked about. Even in there's, I guess, some biblical examples of that. It's a good wife does basically increase the wealth of the family. Whether that means she just takes the wealth of the family and do business deals with it and buys more land was kind of the analogy there, but to basically be fruitful with the money that the family has been given. All right. Oh, that's awesome. So kind of like wrap it up here. What would be like your one tip? Um, what's your one like biggest thing, game changer that's helped you just organize your life and get this all in structure, would you say?
My planner is like the bread and butter of everything. Um, I
Or
use
do you keep it in your phone? Like what's kind of your planner look like?
so I have a physical planner. It's the Blessed is She planner, which I love. I've used it for 5 years now, I think. But I also use like Google Calendar to do things like activities and all of that and make sure that my husband and I are on the same page as far as like where people need to be at the right time. But as far as like the tasks and the things to get done, I use a physical planner for that. And I don't think I would be able to do half the things I do for my business if I didn't write them down. Because if you don't write them down in my head, they just won't happen.
Planner. I think that that would be really helpful. And I think that one of the biggest takeaways is like keep your list of things and don't make it by the day, make it by the week. I think that was like the biggest thing that's really helped, like what you said today, is goals by the week, not by the day. Oh, buddy. Well, I want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for all your time and sharing your time with me. And yeah, yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Hi, buddy. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful to be a mom, isn't it? He
It
comes to you
is.
when he wants cuddles. All
It's
right, well,
chaotic, but it's fun.
yeah, you're needed. I appreciate you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. I'll talk to you
Yes,
later.
you too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Geary Theory. I appreciate your support. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, follow me on my Instagram page, Geary Theory, and go to the Facebook group page, Geary Theory, where you can debate people and also connect with like-minded individuals. Now, that being said, share this video. If you found it helpful, we need to get this truth out there. Be a supporter of the truth, unapologetically proclaim the truth, and all you have to do is share this video to start that movement. And until next time, we'll see you again.